right, here we go again. Welcome to the Otherppl Show, a weekly podcast featuring in-depth conversations with today's leading writers. It's a books and culture show. I'm Brad Listi. I'm in Los Angeles. Thanks for being here. You can follow me on Instagram and Blue Sky. Don't forget to subscribe to the show wherever you listen. I have a great episode for you today. My guest is Lauren Rothery. Her debut novel is called Television. It's out on Ecco as we speak. It is a Los Angeles novel. It's a Hollywood novel. It's about an aging A-list movie star with a drinking problem. And he is disaffected. He's disenchanted with his life of wealth and privilege. He feels like it's been unearned. He's disillusioned. He decides to create a lottery and give away his box office earnings for a particular film. And it becomes a kind of marketing thing unintentionally to give away all of this money to a lucky moviegoer. So it's about this guy, this A-list movie star. It's also about his non-famous best friend / sometime lover. And it is about a young, aspiring filmmaker. So it's a three-hander, alternating perspectives and people whose lives are linked in ways that might surprise you. I think at its core, this novel Television is about luck and the role that luck plays in human lives and in human creative lives in particular. Good luck and bad. And it also feels very much like a novel that is about contemporary Hollywood in this sort of period of tumult. Is it the end? Is Hollywood dying? Are we all sort of, is everybody who's operating in this world kind of roaming around a boneyard? What's happening? That's what this book speaks to. I had a great time talking with Lauren Rothery, and you'll hear us in just a bit. Otherwise, not much is going on. I did have some stumps removed from my backyard. That's my big news. Got some stumps removed from the back garden. That means I'm going to be able to plant stuff. I'm excited about it. I've been wanting to do it for like 2 years now, maybe more. Some of you might recall that I had a tree fall in my backyard, just out of nowhere. I don't even know what caused it. There weren't high winds. It just fell. And it was kind of scary because my kids are in the backyard all the time. And I think back then at that age, it was especially the case. And this tree fell at first light. It was like dawn. I was up at the time. I was the only person up. I think I had just finished brushing my teeth, and suddenly there was this loud crash. And I thought it was like a trash bag had fallen or like a shelf had fallen downstairs. I didn't know what was going on. And I was like, well, I'm the only person who's awake, so what could it be? And so I go downstairs and I'm looking around and I don't see anything. And then I look out the back window and all I see are leaves. So this tree had fallen and it came very close to hitting our house, but it just kind of grazed it. And it fell in such a way that it just covered our lawn in back, but it didn't damage any property, which was fortunate. And, had there been anybody back there, it would have been a catastrophe. So it was very lucky that it fell when it did. And then after it fell, I had to hire somebody to come kind of cut it up and remove it. And there was a stump left. And then there was also an old avocado tree, like a very old avocado tree that no longer produced avocados, really, like none that we ever ate. But it was just standing there. And I had to have it cut down because I was thinking to myself, this could fall. If we had lost. So this tree that fell at sunrise was a tupidanthus tree, which has a very, very heavy trunk. If it would have fallen on a person, it probably would have killed them or badly injured them. And then prior to that, another tree had fallen. It was a small fig tree that just toppled over. So 2 of our 3 trees fell. And then we had this third tree. It was the tallest of the bunch. It was an avocado tree, and I had it cut down. I don't like cutting down trees, but I didn't know what to do. I just felt like this needs to be taken care of. I can't have my kids out here and be worried about something falling on them. So then, of course, we had these stumps, and they just kind of sat there for a long time. And I knew that in order to plant new stuff and to kind of have a do-over, I would need to remove these stumps. But I don't know how to remove a stump. I'm not going to dig up a giant stump like an old tree that's been there for decades. It just seemed like it was really embedded in there. And I don't have time. I don't even know what you're supposed to do. Do you just do that with a shovel? Do you need a bulldozer? Do you need like a machine? Do you need an excavator? And I finally just bit the bullet. It's also expensive. I was like, okay, I got to hire somebody, but found some guys to do it. I just bit the bullet and I paid them. And they came over with a pickaxe and some shovels and a chainsaw. And it took them 2 full days to remove both stumps, like 2 solid 8-hour days. But it's done, and the stumps are gone. And now I've got to figure out what to plant. So that's what's stressing me out now, because I don't know what to plant. I've never designed a garden before. I think I want to go with some kind of succulent, drought-resistant, native plant situation. I've got one tree planted back there. It's like some kind of elm that's very drought-resistant and isn't going to be too heavy. It's not going to topple over, I was assured. And then I want to plant like one more tree, and then I want to plant a bunch of like succulents, but I don't want the succulents to have like thorns or spikes, because I can just see my kids back there and they fall. I don't want any kind of like injury happening in the garden. And I also want it to look good. And I don't want to spend a fortune. So, you can hire like a landscape designer to kind of handle all of this for you. And I'm trying to avoid that. And I think you can hire somebody to give you what's called a planting plan. So they'll come over and they'll kind of give you a plan, and then you have to then execute on the plan. I'm going to try to do it that way, but I don't know how much a planting plan costs. That's the stage of it that I'm in. Because I don't want to screw it up. I want to do this once. I want it to look good. I want whatever I plant, I want it to grow and to thrive. So hopefully that happens this winter. Hopefully I get the plan. I buy the plants myself and I plant the plants, yeah, in the trees. I can plant stuff. How hard is it to plant stuff? I got to believe I can do that. Plus, I'll feel kind of manly. It'll make me feel like a man. I planted some shit. My wife will be proud of me. I'll have a shovel. I'm not very handy. I think my wife is actually more handy than I am, or just more patient, which I kind of feel bad about. So I think I need an opportunity to prove my mettle, do some work, some physical work around the house, make things look better, beautify the property. Today's episode is brought to you by Tin House, publisher of A Silent Treatment, the riveting new memoir by Jeannie Vanasco. This is the official December pick of the Otherppl Book Club. You might have heard about it on NPR's Weekend Edition. It was an NPR Book of the Day, a Harper's Bazaar Best Book of the Fall. It's been getting rave reviews. In a nutshell, A Silent Treatment is about Jeannie's relationship with her mother and how her mother will sometimes give her the silent treatment. Like for 2 weeks, I think the longest spell was 6 months. And what makes it even more interesting is that Jeannie is recounting this experience, or this set of experiences, during a time in which her mother is like living in an apartment that's attached to Jeannie's house. Like she's kind of living right there with them, and yet not talking to her own daughter. It's fascinating. Again, it's called A Silent Treatment, the new memoir by Jeannie Vanasco. You'll hear me talking with Jeannie on this program in the not too distant future about all of the above. Okay, so A Silent Treatment by Jeannie Vanasco, available from Tin House. I also want to give a quick plug to DeepDive, my company. It's a learning platform that creates in-depth courses for people with curious minds. The holiday sale is underway. It's happening right now. You can save 40% on everything with the offer code CHEERS40. And it's the perfect gift for yourself if you're a writer. It's also a great gift to give to somebody who is a writer. If you want to do that, just select Send as a Gift at checkout, and you can schedule delivery anytime. It's very user-friendly. It's the perfect gift. You don't have to ship anything. It's just delivered to their inbox on the day and the time that you choose, and you can save 40% on all courses and all bundles. It's all on sale, 40% off at www.deepdive.audio. Okay, so my guest once again is Lauren Rothery. Her new book, her debut novel, is called Television. It's available from Ecco. Lauren spent her 20s writing and directing short films and music videos, living between New York and LA. And then in 2020, like in the midst of the pandemic or just after the pandemic, or it was kind of pandemic adjacent. At that time, she moved to Europe and began writing fiction, and television is the product of those efforts. And I had a delightful experience with Lauren Rothery. We had a great talk. I'm excited to share it with all of you right now. So here we go. This is me and Lauren Rothery talking, and her debut novel is called Television.
Because I was working in like independent film up until COVID, and then I couldn't really shoot anything anymore. And I found myself writing stories and writing fiction like all the time. It's quite a nice transition for me, actually, to go from trying to make a lot of money to just make the project to only having to keep myself alive to work on it.
So wait, when you say make a lot of money, you mean like raise money to make the films?
Yeah, exactly. It was like you want to make something, but it's so cost prohibitive just to even make the project, let alone to get anybody to see it. And with writing, it's just me. It's like brain to a final product. So yeah, I started writing during COVID really heavily. And then this book I started kind of right after COVID, like after things had opened up again.
Did you have any like prior experience trying to like make literature?
Not really, no. I mean, I'd always written a lot, but it was just things like I didn't show anybody, that I kept to myself. I didn't go to school for it or anything.
And then you start writing this novel as COVID is kind of winding down.
Yeah.
And this feels like something you would want to show people.
Yes, yeah. I had sent stories to a few writers that I really admired, actually, and gotten really nice feedback. And I was feeling kind of confident going into the book. I don't know why I thought that I could write a novel, but I felt that I could do it. And it just felt really natural to me once I started.
And I can imagine being in like an independent film and scrambling to secure funding, or to be shooting things on a shoestring, or to be doing like music videos or whatever you got to do to kind of cobble together a living on a creative level, to suddenly be in complete control and to have like, it's basically zero overhead to write a novel. You need like a computer. Well, I guess a computer's not zero. You need like
lunch for one.
And like a notebook. Like anybody can really do this if they want to. That had to be nice. Yeah,
it was nice. And I mean, I love filming as well, but there's just so many. I loved shooting on film. I always shot on 16 millimeter or sometimes Super 8 and 35. And you just need a certain amount of people for that, and a certain amount of technical skill and time, and just going into like the actual production of the thing, not even anything to do with it being good or bad or interesting, what you're doing with that film. I think it was kind of freeing for me that writing a novel, like the barrier to entry, it's like typing in terms of skills you need to have, and everything on top of that is creative, and that's where I always feel the most confident anyway. So it was a real relief.
Where did it begin? Like what was the first thing? Because as I listen to you talk, I'm thinking of Phoebe.
Yeah. Phoebe has a lot in common with me. It started with Verity, though. The first thing that I thought of was Verity's Lottery, and this actor who has a lot of wealth and doesn't think that he deserves it, and tries to like offload it onto somebody else. And that idea was just funny to me. It just made me laugh. And once I started in with his voice, I wasn't sure how it would turn into a complete project or how long it should be. But when I thought of Helen in relationship to him, it made sense to me as a book.
So you have, just to kind of bring people in, you have Verity, who is this like super good looking and ultra talented actor. He's like he's the Hollywood golden boy sort of, but he's uncomfortable with fame and the trappings of fame and wealth. And he is a drinker.
Yeah. Verity, he's kind of obsessed with the idea that everything he has, it's not things that he earned. It's like what he got out of just being obscenely lucky. Like beauty is luck. I think he perceives any kind of talent that he has as being somewhat lucky and something that he hasn't done much with. And that's where I think the lottery comes a little bit out of like that feeling of guilt.
And then you have Helen, who is his like BFF / sometimes romantic partner.
Yeah.
Who has known him since he was like a kid.
Like a teenager, yeah.
And so they're in this cafe and they sort of have like a meet cute.
Yes.
And then they have this kind of strange intimacy that is not marriage, but sort of similar.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a long intimacy. It's like decades long by the time we meet them.
And she's like his anchor, really, because she's a person who knew him before he became like capital V Verity as this like famous figure.
Yeah.
And whenever I think of like fame and what it would be like to be like Leonardo DiCaprio or just one of these people who's like globally famous, can't go anywhere, I think of how important it would be to have people in my life who knew me before all of this happened, like people who I could really trust to speak the truth to me. And I feel like even those people sometimes when the money gets big can start to kind of tailor their commentary or try to make sure they don't upset you. And I think it warps people's reality. So I can understand how Verity would really value Helen because she's the person who can kind of tease him and tell him when he's full of shit.
Yeah. She does. I do think that's a real like relief to him to have somebody who isn't really. It's not like she ignores his fame. I think she's just not that interested in it, actually. And she doesn't, you meet somebody and I think you form your idea of them. And it's interesting over time how resilient that idea can be. And so even when he gets famous, I don't think she ever really sees him as this like celebrity movie star figure. I think she still sees him very much as like the boy in the cafe who was kind of absurdly beautiful and a bit strange. I do think that's a relief for him. I mean, there's something about fame that to me is quite similar to beauty in that even people who aren't directly communicating with you or interacting with you, like people's body language changes around someone who's really famous or someone who's like freakishly beautiful. And I think that can just be a really like exposing way to go through the world. Helen, I think, is someone he can just like relax around.
Yeah. I mean, this is very much a book about luck. And it's a book, like you say, about people who, through no fault of their own, are just born hot.
It's a terrible curse.
Yeah. Living in Los Angeles, this is sort of the currency or one of the major currencies of the town. And it's something I've thought about my whole life. Like even before I lived in Los Angeles, is just like, what's it like to be a super beautiful person, freakishly beautiful, moving through the world. And that's just your reality. And like my buddies and I growing up would just be like, yeah, like really beautiful women, like walk into a store and like the cashier's just like a little bit nicer. And like,
just a little nicer.
Oh, you're $1 short, like no worries, But if I'm $1 short, it's like, sorry, sir. Like, like,
did you see that episode of 30 Rock where John Hamm is like the really good looking doctor that he can't perform as a doctor, but everyone pretends he can because he's so good looking.
Right. You get this kind of distorted like reality field around you.
Yeah.
And then there's just the issue of success in Hollywood, which is like a notoriously difficult place to be successful. And there's this very wide gulf between the people who have made it and the people who are trying to make it.
Yeah. And
there's a lot of jealousy and envy, and there's a lot of there's a huge class element to it. There's lots of, it's like the Nepo baby thing.
Totally. Yeah.
And that's not, I bristle whenever a celebrity pushes back against the Nepo
Oh, I
baby thing.
know.
It drives me crazy. It's like, hey,
They're like, it was actually harder for me.
it's like, listen, I'm not saying that you don't have talent or you haven't done good work. Just concede that it was a little bit easier for you, or maybe a lot easier for you because like your parents are in the industry and like, you know, people know your name from birth. And I don't know, it seems obvious to me that it's easier.
Yeah. And even just the things you're maybe exposed to or movies you're exposed to, ways of thinking. Yeah. I was really interested when I was living in Los Angeles and like working kind of at the fringes in film, like how attached people were who had a lot of success to this idea that Hollywood is like a meritocracy. And it seemed really obvious to me that it isn't, that there's a lot of skill involved and there's a lot of effort and there's a lot of luck and fluke and the people you happen to know and the way that you happen to look. And, you know, how much money you already have in the bank. There's plenty of like brilliant directors and artists whose parents funded their whole careers, you know. It's a very expensive, it's an expensive thing to do. And it felt very like American to me. Like we love this idea of having earned everything that we have, even though it's so obviously not true. But it's like the if you got anything by luck, it like invalidates your effort or something.
I'm very suspicious of anybody who says they don't believe in luck.
Yeah, I know you too.
I'm like, really? Like, I'm not saying that hard work and talent and grit aren't part of it. And so it would be equally silly for me to say those things have nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
As it is for somebody to say that luck has nothing to do with it. Luck has a lot to do with everybody's fortunes.
Everything. It interests me like how much you can't actually parse out in your life. Like what, often like what individual little things were good luck or bad luck because they're so interconnected as well. You'll have something that feels like it's this like awful thing that befalls you that then leads you to someone you're really glad to have met. And then that will lead you to some other experience that's difficult. It's really hard to split it all up and organize. Like these were the good things that happened and these were the bad things. And I think similarly with choices, there's a part in the book where Helen says like the goal is to kind of be at the end of your life and think, oh yeah, that was a good series of choices. I did all the right things. But you can't tell in the moment if something is ultimately going to benefit you or not. I think that's like what the characters are thinking about quite a lot.
Yeah. And like the good and the bad of it all, if you're looking at it from altitude, it's really difficult to discern.
Yeah.
Like it's like, it might, like you say, in the moment seem like it was awful. And then with the benefit of some time and some hindsight and some perspective, you can realize that it was like the best thing that ever happened to you, or,
yeah,
you know, or it led to all these other good things. You know, it's really, really difficult, but it's an interesting question. And I feel like this town, I don't know how long ago you left, but I feel like everything that has been unfolding since I've lived here has felt like a degeneration or some kind of like revolution in the way that media is disseminated and movies and television get made and consumed. And I'm not sure if it's great. I don't know if it's positive. I know it's different and change is inevitable, but it feels like everybody's idea of Hollywood is sort of on life support. And it's hard for the old, and maybe this is somewhat good, you know, it's hard for some of the old trappings to sort of continue, like the George Clooney of it all. Like, is there really going to be a movie star like that again? Maybe. I don't know.
I think it's a big question. It's like, it doesn't really seem anymore that a big movie star puts people in seats in the way that I think studios for a really long time, like that was how budgets got decided, is like who's in the movie and what value do they bring to the project. And that does seem to be kind of a dying way of like estimating how much money something's going to make you.
Well, when I was watching Leonardo DiCaprio go out and do like podcasts and press, very aggressive press tour for one battle after another, like him and Benicio, I was like, if they're doing media, like shit has really changed, because those guys typically don't do anything, but now they kind of have to, because A, it's a good movie and they want to stump for it.
Yeah, sure.
But B, if they don't do that, and the movie tanks in a major way, then it's going to be harder and harder for them to make those kinds of movies.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I don't know. It's hard to even figure out how it's functioning anymore, because there does seem to be like a real disparity as well between like whether it's a good movie and whether people go and see it. They've never always had something to do with each other. Like, there's movies on videos on YouTube of John Cassavetes like begging people to go and see A Woman Under the Influence, like famously a brilliant movie. But something like One Battle After Another, brilliant movie, really brilliant director he's like a famous director. We've all agreed that he's good for a long time. Huge budget, action movie, huge movie stars. And I don't know, like, did that result in the kinds of ticket sales they wanted? Did that result in like people going to see the movie to the point where like it makes back all the investors quite a lot of money? And then is that kind of movie something they're going to fund again? It's really like hard to tell from the outside. It feels kind of opaque.
Yeah, I mean, I read that it needed to make $300 million to break even.
Yeah.
And so it hasn't. I want to say it's at like 200 now. They're probably hoping for another wave of like theater ticket sales if it wins the Oscar or gets nominated, or which it will, So maybe it'll end up kind of making a little bit of money or breaking even, and then they get all the awards, and maybe that makes it seem worth it. But it's tricky.
Yeah, it's stuff with like art and commerce is always really sticky, right? Where like it needs to make money so that people will keep putting money into it. It's a business. But I mean, like, often historically, people are really bad at judging the best art of their own time. Like, it becomes obvious later. But Hollywood in particular, it's a really tricky business.
It is. And like one of the things I've observed, and like I have limited experience. I did a little television stuff, a few years ago. And so I've taken a lot of meetings, and I've gotten the water bottles, and I've had all of these like empty conversations with people who seem like enthusiastic about me and don't care at all, and I never see them again. So it's like, it's this very vapid, I don't understand it. I can't operate like that. And so I look around at the people who are like really like crushing it. Some of them are just lifers and are just like driven, like they'll die if they don't make it in Hollywood, which I think is like, it's an asset if you want to make it in Hollywood. You almost have to be one of these people who like, if it doesn't happen, you're going to like wade out into the ocean. But it's that. And then I also think there's like a social stamina and maybe just like a social ability, which the same could be said for any business. Everything's a relationship business on some level, it seems. But in Hollywood, it's like kind of who you know, right? And if you're somebody who's really good at building relationships and being out and about and kind of knowing the right people, and you're also good at sort of, I don't know, ingratiating yourself to people and knowing the right thing to say, and maybe you're really good at pitching and like being in those rooms and having some kind of performative capacity will serve you well.
Yeah, I mean, it does make sense as well when you think about like being on film sets. It can feel like camp. Like you're with all these people with such intense hours for such long periods of time. Like you kind of do want people around who know how to be with other people. Like you kind of do want someone working as your first assistant camera who you still would like to have a beer with at the end of 12 hours. It is definitely like a really collaborative social art form in a way that like writing this book, I was like by myself on a mountain in the middle of nowhere. For quite a while, I was in France, like in the Pyrenees Mountains. I was in England for a while, and I was just like moving around because I had left Los Angeles right before COVID, and I was just going to travel for a few months and then maybe go back to New York. But I ended up just being in Europe and moving around for years. And it was possible to do that with a book because it's really portable. It's like easy to just open. You only have to be with your little imaginary people, and it's completely unsocial, which is good for COVID too, actually.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious, in the Pyrenees, was there a cool town that you were in, or was it just some?
Yeah, I don't want to say the name, but yeah, I was in like a tiny little like medieval village where my boyfriend still has a place. And it's nice. It's kind of nice to like be surrounded by a language that you have to try to understand. Like, my French is okay, but I'm never going to be like sitting in a restaurant surrounded by French people, like overhearing conversations that I don't want to overhear. That can be quite good for working as well. Just hearing like voices that are almost like abstract, the way instruments are abstract, you know?
I like that, where I'm someplace where I don't necessarily have total fluency in the language, and I
Yeah.
can kind of be an observer, and there's not as much pressure on me to sort of dialogue. And yet I kind of want to. I don't like being two dimensional. I've been trying to study French on Duolingo. I'm almost to 700 days.
How are you finding it?
I mean, I don't think I'm learning some things, but there's this kind of tyranny of the Duolingo streak where they,
I've heard that people just get addicted to the like doing well on the app. Kind of.
and it's very infantilizing. There's a lot of cartoonization of the app, and there's little like, cartoon characters who cheer you on. And
Is it supposed to help you learn?
it's like they're trying to guilt. I mean, they must have tested this and it works on
Yeah.
people. I find it revolting. And yet I'm still doing it just because I would love to be like fully bilingual, but
Yeah. I take lessons, Italian lessons on a website called Preply with like an actual tutor, an Italian tutor. And like every few weeks we just like have a Zoom call and I try to speak Italian to her. I find that quite helpful, actually.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
maybe that's what I should do. I think like being someplace, like if you're actually in France and you're talking.
Yeah, that makes it a lot. My French got much better the more time I spent, just especially in the villages because nobody speaks English. In Paris, everyone speaks English.
Right. Yeah. You go like in Paris, you try to speak French and they're like, what do you want?
I just switched to English. It's so insulting.
Yeah. Like they can tell. Like I even come in like coming in hot with my French and they're just like, no.
It's humiliating.
Yeah. So you were in LA and you experienced this. I should say too, I listened to the audiobook of your novel because that's how I process all of these books for this show.
Sure.
I'm like listening at like 2.5 speed, like while I'm walking my dog. And I was actually hiking in Runyon Canyon when I finished.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, this is almost like too meta. I feel like I'm inside of this novel.
That's the best way to listen to it, I think.
Yeah. So, yeah. How long ago did you leave? This was right after COVID you took off?
I left LA right before COVID. I was like I was on one of the last flights out that you could take to England because I'm a British citizen as well. And I went to go stay with some people in England. It was like me and 5 people on the plane. It was so strange, like huge empty international flight. The pilot got on and was like, yeah, we've got a lot of toilet paper if anybody's worried about that. It was like when people were stockpiling toilet paper. And then I wasn't back in America for quite a while.
How was that? Was it good to be out?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I actually had a nice experience of COVID. I know a lot of people really didn't, but I was quite like burned out with film and just like I was just doing so many like menial jobs on set, like non-union, just to afford to shoot my own little projects. And you can get really lost in that wheel. And it was really lucky that I could kind of stay with people and get outside of it and just not have the option to oh yeah, I'll take another 2 weeks on this job. I'll take another 2 weeks on this job, to get totally outside of it and just find out what I did with my time when there wasn't the option to monetize it, when there wasn't any money available, and to find that I just wrote all the time. It seemed then like obvious that I should try and do that for a living afterwards.
Yeah, I get that. I found it sort of nice to have all of the options kind of paired away.
Yeah. You learn a lot about yourself, right? Learning what you naturally do with your time. It obviously depends on your circumstances. Talking about luck, I was in a really lucky situation and I had some savings and stuff that I could live off, but finding out what you do when there's no like social pressures, and like I don't know. It was really interesting. I learned a lot.
Yeah, I wrote a book during COVID.
You did?
Yeah, I mean,
What did you write?
It's a novel.
Oh, great!
Sad dad, autofiction. It's it's an acquired taste. But I just, what else were you going to do? But I also I could concentrate on it.
Yeah, right.
So that was nice. And I'm picturing you go to England, I'm picturing you in the Cotswolds, like in some farming village, and some like, it looks like the Hobbit lives there. Is that how it was or no?
A little bit. For a little while, I was out in the countryside with some friends. Yeah, it was kind of a shock to go from Southern California to that. It was like quite cold, and a lot of farm animals. It was nice.
Yeah, I feel like there's been like a wave of celebrities who have moved over there after Trump won again. I think Ellen DeGeneres is in the Cotswolds now. I keep seeing stories.
Yeah, I think a lot of Hollywood is moving over to London. Like, I think the Barbie movie shot in London, and like a lot of big movies are shooting over there now.
Well, that's another part of the disintegration of like traditional Hollywood, is that the financial incentives offered elsewhere have kind of made a lot of productions move. People are shooting in like Romania and stuff because it's just dirt cheap by comparison. It's expensive to shoot in California.
It's super expensive. It's hard. I used to like pretend to be a film student who didn't know I needed to get a permit like all the time. I would just get caught. Like, it's so prohibitive. I think Gavin Newsom is trying to like make changes in that area, right?
They just passed it. They just passed it, whatever that law was, to try to kind of even the playing field. So
I'm not like up to speed on the last couple of years. I haven't been doing any film stuff.
Do you miss it?
Yeah, I do. I'd like to go back to it at some point. It's just such like, I love making a film. I love editing film. I love like working with other people in that way. But I don't miss the business of it, like the money, trying to get the money and worrying about whether you'll be able to get it into the right festival and get anybody to see it. It's like a lot of the things Phoebe in the book like talks about that are her frustrations sort of with the industry. You need the industry for it to exist, but it can be so frustrating to deal with. And I really don't miss that side of it.
And that artist collective that she keeps dreaming of, where a bunch of people just pitch in. Is that something that's crossed your mind before?
Totally. I mean, I have like fantasies about just like, having a big enough place I can invite people to come and work there. But yeah, I mean, it's a fantasy. It's not, I'm sure it would be really complicated in reality.
And like, what about like the hard realities of just like making a living as a writer of literature? Like it's famously difficult, and you have sort of cut off ties with Hollywood. So like, is it getting precarious? Are you able to swing it so far?
I'm eating. No, I'm fine. I have a really like, low overhead. I'm pretty like light on my feet in terms of cost. So I got really lucky with like my publisher in this book, but I'm interested to see how it'll feel, 5 years from now, if I can sell another book or not.
Yeah. I mean, it's like,
just hard for everybody at the moment.
It's hard. Maybe it's always been hard. I think sometimes people can trick themselves into thinking it was easier, but the reality is that you could make a living as a writer of short stories in the mid 20th century. That wasn't fake. Maybe it was hard to become that person, but it just seems like there was an economy around literature anyway, and certainly in the golden age of Hollywood, the money was flying around much more than it is today.
Well, there were so many novelists who went out to Hollywood, and it was like this dirty thing they did for money to write some of our best screenplays. And I mean, it's also that thing of like cities used to it was possible to be like broke and an artist in a big city. In New York, there's like obviously the kind of Chelsea Hotel era, or in Paris in the 20s. I think I did the math once, and like Ernest Hemingway was paying like the modern equivalent of 400 euros a month to live in his apartment in Paris in the 20s. It's just not possible anymore.
You actually did the math?
Yeah, I was so like obsessed with it.
Yeah.
Like, how is this possible? This cafe society.
Yeah, and everybody like he's just like taking a couple of journalism jobs and
Yeah.
you know,
Getting like a check from his aunt every so often.
I was going to say Hadley. I'm kind of a Hemingway nut. I've read a lot about his life.
Yeah.
Hadley had a trust fund. It wasn't
Okay.
it wasn't huge, but she was actually really supporting them.
Yeah, right. So he's his own version of like pretending not to be a Nepo baby. He's like, I'm suffering.
Listen, and then his second wife, Pauline, was even richer. The house in Key West was given to them by her uncle.
Oh my God.
So
that was the thing Virginia Woolf said, right? Is like to be, I mean, I can't remember when exactly she wrote A Room of One's Own, but it was like to be a writer, you have to have 30,000 pounds a year for doing nothing in a room with a lock on the door. And like, this is something that most people don't have.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. But, you know, you're jumping from lily pad to lily pad so far, right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
And you're in New York right now. Is it for book stuff or you're just visiting?
Yeah. No, I'm here for book stuff. Yeah, staying with some friends, going upstate next week. But it's fun to go into bookstores. Like, I feel like I'm seeing my diary on the shelf of the bookstore.
Yeah. I used to joke, like, I'd go into the bookstore to, like, visit my book as if it were, like, a patient in the hospital. Like, sitting bedside. Just
make sure it's still alive.
Yeah, you're just, like, checking on it. Like, we still got a pulse?
Flipping through the pages.
Yeah. Does anybody else see this thing? It's just sitting here.
Just putting it in front of other books.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You got to go face out. That's like, I think every author does that, right? But I want to talk with you about this, like, I would call it like to kind of speak in the parlance of the film industry, the high concept idea at the heart of this book, which is this lottery that Verity, it's kind of the seed of the book, really. You said it was the beginning of it. Mm-hmm. And that's a really good idea. And it's like one of those good ideas that is like so crazy that I might actually wind up seeing it happen in real life. Because these studios, like, you know, Warner Brothers is desperate for one battle after another to make its money back. Like, it's not crazy to me to think like, oh, wow, like who's like Timothy Chalamet or Jacob Elordi, like this young, I think maybe the younger like generation of dudes trying to be movie stars.
Doing like an anarchy kind of move. Yeah.
And also like it's generational, like these younger generations have had a much harder time economically and are kind of staring at like an AI hellscape future. And they're just, but it's also like, how do you cut through and how do you create the kind of box office that's going to allow you to perpetuate your career or going to make a studio a bunch of money? It's not like a terrible idea to have an author be like, yeah, I got 10 points on the back end on this thing. I'm going to do a raffle and I'm going to give away 5 of them.
I know. I'd be so interested to see it happen. It was fun for me to like just slightly spin out like ways that it could go wrong or be somewhat like anticlimactic in its realization. But I do think it would be really interesting. It's like do people need to be paid to like pay to see a movie? You know, do they need like the promise of some like recompensation or recompense?
I'm trying to think. I want to say I either heard someone muse about this or read about it, or someone actually thought about giving away a portion of their royalties from a book.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's getting to that point where I feel like everything is so hyper saturated.
Yeah.
The media culture is just so overdone. Everybody's making shit. It's constant. And like, in order to actually get audience, you might have to pay people.
Yeah. I think there's something about like just making something an event, which is kind of harder to do now because people are like watching things all the time on their phones, on TikTok and like social media and streaming. And like, I think it's difficult to get people to like maybe all want to assemble for something at the same time. And especially if you're asking them to like pay for this experience. I don't know. Like the idea of a lottery or someone like making it so that there's like this like far off chance that you could like hugely gain from it really interests me.
I think it could happen.
Yeah, I could see like Jim Carrey doing it or something.
Yeah. Yes. I think you're a prophet is what I'm trying to tell you.
Great.
And I just think these marketing departments are so frazzled probably. I can only imagine what the like marketing departments at these big studios are dealing with, trying to kind of please their bosses and make things seem like the old days when there's so much noise out there. And
especially since they get like half the budget. Like for a big movie, I think it's like half the budget goes to marketing.
Sure. I mean, I can imagine.
It's huge.
It's a lot of money, Yeah. I'm curious, like in your time in LA and working in the film industry, you sort of mentioned, we've been talking about like what it's like to be famous and super beautiful. Like, do you have any good celebrity stories where like you're in a room with somebody or you're on a set? I don't want you to talk out of turn or anything, but like you have to have, if you live in Los Angeles long enough, you're going to see people.
Yeah, I don't want to like expose anybody, but I definitely like met a number of people. And I guess the thing that just always interested me was seeing how other people would change their whole demeanor, or like their voice would change its octave, or there's like this crazy anxiety that seems to happen around somebody that's really famous, where it's almost like the person's not a person to you, they're an idea. And you start immediately fantasizing about like how you could benefit from this interaction in a way that doesn't happen with most normal interactions. You meet somebody at a party and you're not like immediately thinking, how can this change my entire life?
Yes.
But you do see that around people who are really famous, and it's so weird. And I just have I don't know what that would feel like. To research the book, I read like an ungodly amount of actor profiles and like interviews and things, and spoke to a few friends who are sort of in that world. But I just think it would be so confusing.
I think it would be hell.
Yeah.
To be that person, to be that person and to have everybody around you. Cause like what I always say is that, to be in a room with a famous person, the fame is like a third party entity.
Yeah.
It's not them. It's like this other thing that's in the room with you.
It like follows them around.
And it's between the two of you.
Yeah, totally.
And it's impossible in some ways. And I'd say like being around an ultra wealthy person, which the famous typically are. But I mean, just being around big wealth does this to people. It warps reality and it causes people's temperatures to change and their behavior to change. And there's some weird like element of fantasy to it. And how could this possibly benefit me? And oh my God, I'm so close to the ring. It's like Lord of the Rings, basically. It's like Frodo.
It's like sucking you in.
Yeah, or it's Bilbo Baggins gets close to the ring and turns evil. And
you just hear the voice of Gollum.
Yeah, it's like that. And it's annoying. And I don't like it. I find myself wanting to get out of the room. I feel uncomfortable, and I feel like kind of in a weird way, I feel bad for the famous person because I'm like, okay, I'm not going to be able to, I just want out. That's what I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, like stuff with paparazzi as well is really weird. I was like with someone who got like paparazzi photographed once. And I think I just had this like crazy grimace on my face because it was horrifying. It's so scary to have somebody jump out of the bushes and start like flash photographing you. And like that being seen as like part of your job must be really weird. Yeah, I do find it interesting. And I also find like the human impulse to like make idols out of people to be really interesting, because we do it in our romantic lives a little bit as well, like make ideas out of people. We certainly do it with celebrities, like project a lot onto them, like project this, like, I don't know, intimacy or like wanting them to see you a certain way. It's such a weird thing to do.
And you know what else is weird is that there's a certain person, it's a type of person who operates in like the entertainment firmament, who's like, their gift in life is that they're an expert at being around famous people. And making famous people feel comfortable and like sort of being like the person who doesn't give a fuck, like maybe in an authentic way. And that's why it works.
I'm picturing like the Rip Torn character in the Larry Sanders Show.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen it?
Yeah. Just like, just this person who can sort of like either have that affect or genuinely just not care.
Yeah.
But there has to be that person in the machine in order for the machine to work. Totally. And then there is this other element to it as like a Los Angelino for like 25 years now. And I actually wrote a magazine piece about this for like the AARP magazine. Not that. It was Westways. It was like the I don't know. It's like a travel AAA, not AARP.
Okay.
I'm not that old yet. But I wrote about, because I was asked to write about like what it's, some sort of on the ground Los Angeles thing. And something that was always interesting to me about being like a civilian in Los Angeles who's not in the entertainment business, like in the film and television machine, is that, you will see famous people out.
Yeah.
And I don't care all that much. It's not like I care zero, but I don't care all that much. And so I was at Whole Foods, as one does, or I guess nowadays it's Erewhon, but this was many years ago, and I was at Whole Foods, and it was actually Father's Day. And I remember this because I saw Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, wow.
He keeps coming up, but I saw him and his father shopping at Whole Foods.
Oh my gosh.
And so I'm pushing my cart like sort of absentmindedly through Whole Foods. And then suddenly I remember I was in the pasta aisle. It's like pastas and pasta sauces and all that stuff. And I just like look ahead and I'm like you just recognize, how are you not going to recognize?
You can't help it. Yeah.
And so but what I was writing about is that I fell into what I would consider to be like a very masterful performance of a man who did not recognize Leonardo DiCaprio. Like suddenly I'm not going to turn around. So I'm just like looking at the pasta like it's the most interesting thing in the world. And I'm just like, I'm not going to look at you. And I'm like, wait a minute, he's the actor.
He's going to know.
But also like the force of his celebrity has somehow turned me into an actor. Like, I shouldn't have to act. And yet I think that's what it does. It makes you feel like you need to act in order to give them space to like accommodate this fame that's in between you. And then I started to resent it. I'm like, I should be able to just be like, hey, dude, like it's not my fault I recognize you, and
right.
It's very strange, but it's a facet of living here.
There's something about too, like movies, like the actors who've been in movies that you really love. It's like you have a real relationship with the character, this person that they played and put a lot of themselves into. And you can't help recognizing that character. It feels like probably the same thing happens in your brain as when you recognize someone you know. But you would never, it's one-sided. They don't know you and you're aware of this, so then you try to alter your behavior. But if you saw somebody that you felt like you'd connected to as much as you did to that character, you would never pretend that you didn't know them. It would be a crazy thing to do. So it probably feels really odd.
It's crazy making. That's why I'd just rather not see him. I don't want to see you. I want to see you on the movie, up on the screen. But otherwise, stay away from me. Oh, that's so crazy. But
poor Leo.
I mean, we really feel for the guy. He's had such a rough ride.
Such a rough time. He's been too lucky.
Did you ever work on any big Hollywood movies? Were you ever like a gopher on anything?
No, I didn't. I was always like on like non-union stuff, and I did a lot of like TV shows. I worked on I was in wardrobe departments on TV shows in New York, and I would like often just get hired to do like a couple weeks at a time. So no big movies. Although I'd love to be on one of them. I think it does seem really strange, but fun, honestly.
I'd love to watch a really gifted director and like really gifted actors work. Like I would just love to just be a fly on the wall.
Yeah. I mean, I think like PTA, speaking of him, I think he used to go on maybe like on Altman's sets quite a lot. Which just seems like the most fun thing in the world. Like a 90s Altman set is like my dream. Yeah.
That's a guy who I feel like embodies, I don't know, it's like organized chaos, but like the indie spirit of it all. And just his like, there's something about him in the way he operated that just feels like the golden age of 70s Hollywood. And
there's like hijinks involved. It always seems like on his sets, but they're so like, organized chaos. They're like so perfectly controlled. Like the Buffalo Bill one with Paul Newman. Did you ever see that one?
No.
It's crazy. It's one of the craziest movies I've ever seen in my life. I don't know how, but you get so absorbed in it. It's like all the people talking over each other. He used to record sound in quite an interesting way in order to accommodate everybody talking over each other in the scenes. And it's so impressive. It like makes you forget that you're watching a movie so quickly.
Paul Newman.
Paul Newman. He was very beautiful.
I was going to say, talk about a guy. I was reading, I was reading something. I think it was when Ethan Hawke made that documentary about Paul Newman.
Yeah.
Joanne.
What was it? Joanne Woodward?
Yeah, the last movie star or something like that. But
yeah.
She was, I think I was reading something or I was watching the film where she was just basically like, yeah, he just kept getting more and more beautiful as he aged. Like I think he did finally peter out once he hit like 75 or something. But like this was a guy who just was gifted. He was blessed. Yeah.
And I do think he actually saw it as a little bit of a curse sometimes, that he like couldn't. I think it's maybe like hard to get an accurate read on what you're doing from people when you have that, like even like a really intense amount of charisma can be kind of obfuscating. And he was so serious about like the studio and method acting, and Joanne Woodward was just like a genius. Yeah, I do kind of wonder if he'd been less beautiful, like what his career would have been like.
I feel like it would be great if human beings could all experience whatever realities we kind of desired most. Like if you really desire to be rich and it's like out of reach or it just hasn't happened, you should get to try it on for like a month.
Yeah.
And if you were like, you know what, I would love to be his hand. Like I would be fascinated to walk through the world as like 35-year-old Paul Newman.
Yeah.
Like not even as like a famous actor, but just as like a human being who's that good looking. Like just like walk around New York City and just like see what happened.
Just see like how people are around you.
Yeah. And like, but like with my own brain, you know, and like my own like accrued knowledge of what it's like to look like this and not like Paul Newman. And then I've also said that I really would love to be like, have like world-class speed. I just want to know what
like running speed,
like Usain Bolt. But instead of like competing in track and field, I would just want to like run in public. Like to freak people out.
It's like down the street.
I'm always like, why if these people
like running after cars,
just jump, like if you're a long jumper, like you're just like sprinting and then you just jump over a car like in New York City and everyone's like, what the fuck? Like I don't understand why people with those gifts don't, like they save it for the track. It's like, dude, you've got this
they're
thing.
Like the chefs who just eat mac and cheese at home.
Right. Yeah.
It's only when they're in the restaurant.
They just want like a roast beef sandwich, you know?
Yeah.
Well, so where are you from? You said you have British citizenship. So tell me like where you're from.
Well, I was born in London, but I grew up in San Diego. I had quite a weird childhood because not for religious reasons, but like a group of kids that I knew, we were all like homeschooled together. So I didn't really go to school until I was like 14 years old. I was just like on the beach in San Diego for my whole childhood.
Your parents hippies?
They're not hippies. They're quite like educated, didn't have any money really. And they had some friends with kids our age who were in a similar position. And for some reason, I think I was in kindergarten at a school, and they were all really distressed about the things that were going on at this public school. And they just pulled us out and like swapped us between their houses. And we kind of like taught ourselves a lot of the time. Or they would, like, my mom was quite good with math, so she'd like oversee us doing math. And it was like a very, we learned how to, if there's something you want to learn, you can teach it to yourself. That was my big takeaway from those years. But yeah, a lot of time outside in California.
It's probably good for you.
Yeah, in a lot of ways. It gives you like a certain amount of like confidence in your own abilities, which I think is nice.
And just like resourcefulness, like I'll figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be there to figure it out. It'll be fine.
As opposed to me when I was in film school and somebody handed me a Bolex and I was like, like I don't understand.
Yeah, I'm like delusional about what I can do. I'm like, give it to me. Yeah, the film camera. It's famously complicated.
I got to hang out with you. You can load the camera. That was I was a film student, and that was like the end of it for me. I was like, I can't do this. It was
too scary.
And we were editing on Moviolas, and
right,
all pre-digital. But it was just like I don't want to deal with machines. I wanted to storytell. You know.
Yeah.
So I relate to like your being like, you know what, I'm going to leave the film industry and just like go write a book in the mountains.
Yeah, it's nice.
So age 14, you go to school.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I would imagine, was this like, I want to go to school, mom and dad, or was it?
No, it was like my parents were doing a lot better financially, and so they could pay for a school that they thought was good. And I think at a certain point they thought, I don't know, this like gang of feral girls should probably be like socialized. And so we went to this private school all of a sudden, and it was like the biggest culture shock. Even just like being in a classroom, it sounds so silly and obvious, but like having like a real curriculum and not having it be at all like self-determined was really confusing for me. Like, these are the books we have to read, as opposed to like, here's a bookshelf and just like pick something that interests you from it. And like I was really interested. I mean, like, boys were like an alien species to me. I was really interested in the way that like all these young teenagers interacted. And I felt like I was like a little anthropologist.
I was going to say,
Goodall, like, just like observing the high schoolers in their natural habitat.
But you must have been exotic. You're like the homeschool girl.
I was very shy, you know. I was, I think like a number of kids thought I was like mute. I was just like watching and like abject horror for the first year. But, you know, people can get used to a lot. So I did get used to high school. Did
you find your own David Greybeard? Did you have like a specimen that you connected with?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
One friend who I could like view everything through her eyes, and she ushered me in. Yeah.
You guys are like, what do I always feel like chimpanzees are always like grooming each other, you know, like picking bugs out of each other's.
Yeah, they're just cuddling and grooming. Like,
That's it.
Or killing each other.
Or killing, yeah. I'm kind of freaked out by chimps. I know Jane would probably scold me, but I get a little worried. I don't need to interact with a chimpanzee. I'm happy to.
That's fine. You don't have to. You're not a.
Yeah,
you're not surrounded.
That's right. Not yet. So you go to school and you have this kind of anthropological high school experience. And then did you go to film school? It sounds like you did.
No, I didn't. I was supposed to be a professional dancer. I had been really, really serious about ballet for like my entire life. And during summers, I would like dance away at like company programs and stuff. And then right before I graduated high school, I had sustained like a whole series of injuries, and I had been planning to go dance with Boston Ballet after school, and I just like couldn't do it at the last minute. And so I was pretty good at art. I just really wanted to go away to school. I didn't want to stay home for another year. So I had a friend who was going to an art school in LA, and I just like walked in with my portfolio of paintings, and they'd already finished their admissions, but I like begged them to take me, and they did. And then I tried lots of different things in art school, and ended up in costume design. And that was like my way into film.
What was the art school in LA?
I started out at Otis. It's like, art school. And there's a campus sort of by LAX, and then there's a campus downtown, the like fashion school.
Okay. Yeah. I think I know some people who did that.
Yeah.
And
it's cool. It's an interesting place.
And that's what got you in. You were like costume design.
Yeah, I finally ended up, I went to a costume program for a year in London, and then moved to New York. I didn't even graduate. I had a teacher who was like, look, if you want to design and you want to work on set, you don't really need to be burning like all this money every year. You should just go work, you know, you have everything you need. And that was super helpful, actually. So I went to New York and just started working, and then got quickly frustrated by my like total lack of control as a costume assistant, just like hunting down obscure tops at H&M in Midtown, and started shooting. I bought like a film camera from a rental house that thought film was dead, and I started shooting things.
Is it dead? No,
it's fine.
It's still there.
I mean, people still shoot on film. Yeah, I think One Battle After Another was film.
Yeah, no, I think it was Vista. Was it VistaVision?
VistaVision, like yeah.
These big old heavy cameras, but
yeah,
I don't know.
So beautiful.
I think it looks better. It definitely looks better, but I understand. Like I saw David Lynch be like, "No, digital is the future." You know, like, so I mean, there are different opinions about like
totally, yeah.
You know what to do, but you wanted, like, you're basically like an assistant costume designer, and you're like, what I really want to do is direct. Is that how you were thinking?
Yeah. And I would just like ask, make friends with guys in the camera department, ask them loads of questions. And like, I always wrote to directors that I admired, and sometimes people would meet me for a coffee, and, I'd ask really stupid questions.
Like who?
Give me great advice. Well, there is a director that I loved who was doing a lot of music videos called Emily Kai Bach, who hasn't done anything recently, but she was totally brilliant. And I cold reached out to her, and she gave me great advice. And there were like a few different people. Terrence Winter, the screenwriter, gave me some really good advice, like sat down with me for an hour. There's a producer called Adela Romansky who somehow came across one of my short films and also just like had coffee with me for an hour, gave me great advice. I've always found like people are really happy to, to like share what they've learned in that way.
Right, especially when you're young and cute.
Yeah.
Like people are like, oh, I think like, this is what I say to my daughter. I say to my daughter, I'm like, listen, if there's something you want to do, and she's 15 now, but I'm like, even now, like if there's something you want to do in the next like 10 years, reach out to people.
Yeah, totally.
Have some chutzpah. People are charmed by, I think, young people who ask questions and have the gumption to just speak up.
Yeah, I think so. And like, I think that somebody who really wants to learn how to do something well and like doesn't know how to do it, you're like happy to give that person a little bit of what you know for the most part. Or I always found that people were like super generous with knowledge, especially if you're not going to them asking for like a job or for them to introduce you to somebody. It's just like, I just want to know a little bit of what you know. I just want to learn how to do this well. I think that was like my film school, was just like people telling me what they knew and then me like watching an insane amount of movies like
Listen,
over and over.
It's a better film school than most film schools by a long shot. And are there pieces of advice that you can actually like remember and encapsulate that you've carried with you?
Yeah. Well, Terrence Winter gave me some really good advice, which was like, if you want to be a writer or screenwriter or director, it's really tempting to go and get a job that pays you pretty well, that you can live quite comfortably while you're trying to do this other thing that doesn't pay you at all. But don't do that. He was like, it's much better to be in like a menial job that you hate and you're just getting by, because you'll always feel really fueled to do the thing that you actually want to do. You won't just like get comfortable for 10 years at the job that you only kind of like. And once you get to a certain amount of like physical comfort in your life, it's really hard to let go of it. That was quite good advice. So I totally took it. I mean, I had like low paying jobs for so long. And I think it was true. You end up feeling like, I don't know, that like fire to keep doing the thing you really want. I don't know. I got a lot of good advice over the years of like how to think about story and stuff. It's hard off the top of my head, but it always comes up like while I'm working.
Yeah, you pick up bits and pieces, and
yeah,
I think that it's really like it's tough to get one of those jobs, like the PTA job. I feel like there's only so many of those jobs where you're like the guy who gets, his movies get bankrolled, big stars want to be in them, and you can kind of make the art film. You have final cut.
Yeah. I mean, certainly. It does seem like, I don't know. My dad gave me some advice when I was a kid that always stuck with me. He was trying for years to be an actor and never really had the success that he wanted. And he said that at a certain point, you have to choose if you're going to try to be, well, for him, an actor or a star, because they're two different paths of what you're trying to draw to yourself. And sometimes you get lucky and you get both. But pick the one that you're happy with if you only get that one and you don't get the other. And I always approached art as like, I want to be an actor. I want to be an artist. And if money comes from it and I get all the big actors who want to do my projects or, whatever, then great. But if not, at least I still get to make the art, make the stuff that I like. And going into this book, it was like my only goal was to make a book that I really like reading. And I do like reading it, and I like to think that whenever I've listened to interviews with PTA, it's like, he's so interested in the art and what he's doing, he's not really talking about like how to become PTA, like how to get this position in the industry. It's just like, what's this movie about? Why am I doing it?
Yeah, he always seems very enthused. I feel like for somebody whose movies are as like arty and edgy and I don't know, just interesting, his personality is sort of fascinating to me because he's kind of childlike or something. There's something sort of goofy.
He seems very interested in his own work for sure. Yeah,
he's kind of goofy. He's a nerd. He loves it, and maybe that's actually like an instructive thing. Is that you should lean into your own enthusiasms and pay attention to when you're actually genuinely interested.
Yeah, like I want to watch the movie that he wants to watch. I want to read the book that Joan Didion would have wanted to read, not just like something she decided would get her more work. It's going to be so much more interesting if the person loves it themselves, if they really believe in it.
And you can feel it.
Yeah, totally. I think we all have that little like bullshit detector, right?
So your dad was going to be an actor. Is your mom already too, or no?
No, not at all. I mean, I think she's a really creative person, but she wasn't. She was like more of a business person in sales, and she really was super happy for me and my sister to be into art. Though she always even when we didn't have any resources, she would she found a painter, this like Russian painter who lived near us, who was incredibly skilled. And my mom traded some service with her. So she would teach us painting. And she was always finding ways for us to be creative.
That's awesome. And she was the math mom. She was the
math mom. No. She's right brain.
All right. Well, you're living in the UK, you said? Is that where you're at right now?
Yeah, I still move around quite a lot at the moment, but I'm mainly in London. Yeah.
You're mainly in London. Mm-hmm. And you've got this book out, and it's called Television. There is a Tom Verlaine reference in the book.
Yeah, and a Richard Hell reference as well, actually.
Yeah, so that was
I love that band.
Yeah. Marquee Moon, isn't that the album?
Oh my God, yeah, it's so brilliant. It's such a good listen, start to finish.
So that was just a nod, but the title of the book being Television, can you just talk a little bit about that choice?
Yeah, there are kind of a few different reasons why. At first I just I liked how it felt for some reason. I couldn't quite explain why. And then as the book progressed, I started to think a lot about actually kind of an older form of television, watching Seinfeld or Columbo or something like that, where you just keep going back to the same show over and over, or watch it week after week because you really love the characters and you like to be around them. And it's not really a plot-based attachment. It's completely just these people you want to be with. And it felt similar to Verity and Helen's relationship. And so there's a bit at the end of the book where Verity talks about some people, you make a movie with them and it has this little arc and then it's over. And some people, it just keeps going and you keep going week after week because you just like that character. And that there's a kind of romance to that, just not ever getting tired of somebody.
Well, congratulations to you. Is there something else in the works? Are you writing another book?
Yeah, I'm writing another book. I'm trying not to talk about it in detail because I do a lot better when I can tell myself that I don't need to publish what I'm writing. But yeah, I am working on something else.
Just the whispers of an idea of what it's about, broadest strokes. You don't have to get it. You don't have to tell me details.
It's kind of another love story.
All right. Set in the Pyrenees? Is it set in the Pyrenees?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, it's great to meet you. And I wish you well on this mysterious next book and your peripatetic European transatlantic life.
Thank you. It's been really nice talking to you.
Okay, there we have it. That was me in conversation with Lauren Rothery. That was totally enjoyable, right? She was fun to talk with. Her debut novel is called Television. It is available from Ecco. You can find her on the internet. Her website is laurenrothery.net. There's no social media at all, so just read her book. Again, it's a debut. It's a novel. It's called Television. Out there now from Ecco. Go get your copy right away. Don't forget to subscribe to this show wherever you listen. You can also subscribe on YouTube. You can follow me on Instagram and Blue Sky. Sign up for my newsletter at bradlisti.substack.com. And if you love this show, if you listen regularly, support the show over at patreon.com/otherpplpod. Get yourself an Other People t-shirt or a sweatshirt and sign up for my book club over at otherppl.com. Go get yourself some DeepDive courses or bundles at 40% off right now at www.deepdive.audio. Use the code CHEERS40. And if you want to send a gift, just select Send as a Gift at checkout and schedule delivery anytime. Last but not least, if you have a moment and you want to help me out, if you want to do something nice for me for the holidays, please give this show a rating wherever you listen. Rate it, review it. It helps the show algorithmically, and it helps it find new listeners. All right, so coming up on Tuesday, there will be, I hope, a new episode, a new conversation with another writer. It's in the works. That's what I can tell you. It's coming together, slowly but surely, I think. All right? Fingers crossed. I'll be back in like 48 hours with a new dialogue.